Hi there, it's Carrie from Stamp with CT. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Texas, and I want to welcome you in for our Facebook Live today. So glad you're here. So if you're catching the replay, which you probably are if you're getting this part of the video, I want to welcome you and tell you that I'm so glad you're here. I appreciate those that are on the replay crew. And then, of course, those that are able to catch the video live, love having you here as well. So either way, hope you'll give me a thumbs up, send up a heart, let me know you're here by leaving a comment. If you have not already followed my Stamp with CT Facebook page, I would love for you to do that. And you can also subscribe if you're watching on YouTube and hit the notification bell so YouTube will let you know when I upload a video. Okay, we've got all that out of the way, huh? All those social media things. So I'll wait just a minute, see if I have anybody that's able to join me live. I hope so. It's not, of course, looking like it normally does. Oh, they change things all the time. But it does look like we're live. So while I'm actually creating the project, I cannot see your comments, but I love going back and seeing who is here and who said hello. So be sure to do that. So glad that we have a little bit of time that we can craft and connect. I do have a fun project for you today. We're going to complete a set of cards that I'm making. And we're using a really fun layout too. So we'll jump on in. I will tell you what we're doing is recreating a card that I received about 5 years ago. This little card right here from our Demonstrator Development Manager, or DDM, Chad Williams from Stampin' Up. So at that time, I had earned the incentive trip to Maui, but it was May of 2020, and because of the pandemic, we were not able to go on the trip. So I was not expecting to get this card in the mail, and I was so excited when I did. It meant a lot to me. And I have been displaying this card in my craft room for the last 5 years, so it's a little bit worse for the wear. It's a little bit ripply here at the bottom, and it's had better days, but it's still such a cute layout. And I was looking at it the other day. I was moving some things around, putting some ink pads away, and it caught my attention. And I've made cards with this layout before, but I got to thinking I could kind of revamp this and update this, and I knew just the set that I wanted to use to do that. So we are going to be using the Textured Notes, a couple stamps from it. This is a red rubber stamp set. Beautiful detail in the images, and then a beautiful font for the sentiments. We're going to use this large leaf, and then we're also going to use the sentiment that says a little note of appreciation. I thought that's so pretty. And then this also has some dies that coordinate with the stamp set. So we're going to use just a couple of the dies. Let me see which one. I think it's this one. Let me double check myself though. That one's a little bit too big. It's that next one down. Yeah, it's this one. And these are really pretty. If you have not seen these dies, I'll bring them a little closer. Hopefully that will pick up on camera. But when you're die cutting, it also embosses a beautiful border. And so the dies are different borders. You can still layer them. It's just so pretty. But what I did was use this die to cut out that full focal image, and then we'll talk about this one in a minute. So on Chad's card, this is a piece of basic white cardstock that's 4 inches by 3 inches, and then a piece of designer series paper that's approximately 3 inches by 3 inches. You need it 3 inches wide to fit on here. But then you can kind of zhuzh it just a little bit because you've got this piece of cardstock that goes across. So what I did for our cards is I went ahead and cut out a piece of basic white cardstock. Now, if you notice, this die is not quite as wide. It's not quite 4 inches, but it still works. It still works just fine. And then it's also slightly longer than 4. So not quite 3 inches and a little longer than 4, but it's going to work just fine. You'll see. So I cut my white. I also cut my designer series paper, and I'm pulling in the 2025 to 2027 in color designer series paper. It's a 6x6 paper pack. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then we are living right, y'all, because this little die is almost the exact same size, if not the same size, as the strip of cardstock that goes across the center. So that is what we're using for our cardstock. So I'm going to move this out of the way and bring in a couple of the cards that I've already done. So this is our Secret C. And I went ahead and stamped off and did second generation on the inside just to get that image on the inside as well. And I may very well stamp that image on the envelope because this is going to be a set of cards that I will gift. I thought that turned out super pretty. This one is the Darling Duckling. And then I also used the embellishments, those in color embellishments, did the same thing on the inside. So look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Using that same layout, but just updating it a bit. I hope that that will come through, that you've got the beautiful stitching. It's just so pretty. Then this is the Timid Tiger version. And we still need to make one in Cloud Cover and Strawberry Slush to complete our set. So that's what I'm going to do with you. So let's first burnish our card base, just 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And this is Secret C cardstock, just what I decided to go ahead and use for all of them. And then I do have that piece of white cut out, that little border of cardstock. And then here's the piece with the decorative border all the way around except the bottom. Doesn't matter because we're going to be covering that up, right? So we'll bring in, some Secret C ink. Just to make sure I don't lose my pieces here. Some Secret C ink. And I'll bring in that image first. So pretty. We'll ink that up right quick. Again, this is a red rubber stamp set. That really is my favorite. I love red rubber. I'm stamping to get some of the ink off. And for a larger stamp like this, I like to turn it sideways. And then come over here, right about here. And using second generation, where it's not quite as dark. Beautiful. That turned out really pretty. And then for this piece, our designer series paper, we do want it full strength. And I just kind of place that leaf up in the corner. Trying to get my bearings here. And you know, each one of these is handmade, so they may not be perfectly like the others. Look how pretty that is. I love that. I may have come over just a little bit further. It's okay. I'm going to put that stamp over on my chamois and bring in my greeting that says a little note of appreciation. And before you glue this on here, you definitely want to stamp your sentiment, and I'll tell you why. If for some reason you need a second chance to stamp your greeting, I did pretty good that time, but if for some reason this was crooked, then you flip it over and you'd be able to cover up your stamping sin just like that. Pretty awesome, huh? But I think we're going to go with that because it turned out good. Okay, let me close this ink pad up. And we'll go ahead and finish this card, and then we'll go back and do the one in Strawberry Slush. So let's put a little bit of glue. Oops. I left my glue sitting on my desk and not in my holder that Dale made me. Not wise. Not a wise thing to do. I know better than that. We'll just justify that up to the top. And it kind of drops right into place where those grooves are. That's pretty cool. And for this piece, we're going to come in with some dimensionals. Let me find a couple. Uh-oh. Two dimensionals together. We want to place this on the back. And this is just wide enough for dimensionals if you strategically place them on there. It works. Probably need to grab one more for right there. Because I don't want a droopy sentiment, do I? That would be terrible. That would be tragic. Okay. Just kind of come right along that bottom and line that up. So pretty, y'all. So now we're ready to put our inside panel. Pretty easy little card, isn't it? And what I love is that it really helps you stretch your designer series paper, and I'm always looking for great ways to use my 6x6 designer series papers. And y'all know math is not my favorite thing to do, but when you're using basically a 3x3 square for a card like this, you're going to get 4 out of every sheet of designer series paper. So the math is mathing on that, which always helps. And I'm going to turn this sideways to put this down. It's what works for me. I'm bringing this piece almost over to the side, trying to pretty much center it up on my card base. Voila, that looks pretty, doesn't it? And then I have some of those gems that are the 2025 to 2027 in color, flat pearls. And I've used so many of these. We're just going with the same color. So cloud cover gem for this one. That's done. That turned out pretty, didn't it? It may be, I think it may have scooched a little bit. It definitely scooched a little bit. Let's try that again. Let's get that back in place. I'm noticing with the warmer weather that my glue is taking a little bit longer to dry. Get back over there. That was way wonky, wasn't it? That's better. Okay, we'll let that dry for a second and we'll work on our strawberry slush card. It's going to be pretty too. Let me just burnish this card base. And I debated, I thought I could mix up the designer series paper, not the designer series paper, the cardstock. I could have kind of mixed those up and used different colors, but I just chose to go with it like that. All right, first thing we need, bring in where I've been stamping off. That always makes me smile. It looks kind of cool, doesn't it? And we'll ink our stamp up again, stamp off, get some of that ink off. I like to turn it sideways when it's a larger stamp. I can just see it better that way. Get it positioned where I want it. A little pressure for about 5 seconds to let the ink transfer. Beautiful. Then we will bring in our designer series paper once again. We want to do this in full strength ink. Pretty. I'll put that over on the chamois and we'll bring in our sentiment. Remembering to stamp that first, so if I mess up, I've got another chance. Make sure, yes, that's right. I don't know, with all that stuff up above me, it's hard to see, but doing okay, I think. I'm sure y'all have a much better vantage point. Close up my ink pad and get this out of the way. And then, oops. Well, what did I do with my little piece of strawberry slush? There it is. I lost it. We'll put some glue here. I love stamping on designer series paper. I think that's such a beautiful effect, because you get all that lovely variation of color. It makes it even more fancy, doesn't it? Got a little bit of glue on my fingers. Let's glue this on the inside here. So I haven't decided if I'm going to make a holder for this set of cards, but I'm definitely going to be gifting this set of cards. I love doing that. Sometimes I make a holder out of cardstock. Sometimes I just tie it up with some ribbon. I put the set together with their envelopes, tie it with some ribbon, and put a little tag on it. And then sometimes I use tulle, which is very pretty, to put some tulle around it. That makes it look fancy. Make sure I put my dimensionals on the side without the stitching. I don't know if I told y'all, but we had a little bit of rain today. I had no idea it was even raining till I went to let Oliver out. And it was just the nicest, slowest, easiest rain. It smelled so good outside. It smelled like rain. Y'all know what rain smells like? Isn't that funny? It just was really nice out there. And it hasn't been too hot today, so that's lovely. So far, we've been pretty fortunate. You know, 4th of July is just right around the corner. So that's kind of unusual for us here in Texas. Not complaining by any means, though. I like this weather. I may have gotten that slightly wonky, but I'm okay with that. The little strip. I'm okay with that, though. And I'll tell you, of all the colors of embellishments, I keep running out of the strawberry slush embellishments. They're my favorite, apparently. So in one of the packets that we sent out, there was just a little piece of an embellishment. There it is. It still has, I think that's a strawberry slush, yeah. But I'm going to have to reorder because that's not enough strawberry slush. Oops, it flipped upside down. That's not enough strawberry slush embellishments. I'm sorry, but it's just not enough. Okay, so there is our strawberry slush version, our cloud cover version. Then we have Timid Tiger. And we have Darling Duckling. We make room for everybody. And we have Secret Sea. And then we have our inspiration card that got all the ideas going for today. So y'all let me know what you think. If you have a favorite, I just think this makes a beautiful set of cards. You can see how quick and easy it can be to create a nice gift for someone and just have a little fun along the way, right? Okay, I do have a piece of Happy Mail to show you, so let me get these picked up out of the way because it's a gorgeous card and I want you to really see all the detail on it. But before I do that, let me tell you that we do still have a sale going on. It's the Sweet sale. So anything that is in a suite collection, a grouping of products, or a suite bundle that's part of a suite, you can get 50% off. You can buy one, get one 50% off. There's a little bit of a caveat to that. You have to be careful. What you have in your cart, the least expensive item that's part of a suite, that's what you get the 50% off of. So I've been recommending, if there's suites or bundles that you want, the entire collection or bundles that you want, then put those in the cart, check out. Yes, you'll pay another shipping when you place another order with the smaller priced items, but you still save a lot more money that way. For example, if you have 2 suites, a bundle, and a package of paper, then you're going to get, or a package of embellishments, you're going to get the 50% off the paper or embellishment. So in order to really maximize your savings, it's better to place 2 orders if you have suites or bundles on your list. That ends the 30th of June, so you just have a few more days to take advantage of that. And you can shop at stampwithct.stampinup.net in my online store. Let me know if you need any help. This fabulous card, y'all, look at all the detail, the splattering, just the gorgeous coloring. This is so pretty. I love the designer series paper on the card base, and then this mat that was stamped on over it. I thought that was a beautiful effect as well. Even a little strip of designer series paper on the inside. Of course, it's purple, so you know we all love purple, right? But this card was created by Debbie, and I just want to give her a shout out for making an absolutely fabulous card, but also making my day. I loved getting this card, Debbie. Thank you so very much. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, guys, I think that's it for today. I'll see you again next week. And if you like this idea of kind of recreating an inspiration card, I do have another card in mind. Let me know in the comments if you want to do that again. It's another card that I received from Stampin' Up, and it's also several years old, but I think it would be a fun layout to do this with as well. Talk to you soon. Thank you.